Surfin. Close your eyes for a moment and drift back to 1964. You see, the world felt loud and uncertain, yet music wrapped everything in a glow we didn't fully appreciate back then. Songs spilled from transistor radios, record shops buzzed with weekend crowds, and teenagers practiced new dance steps on shag carpets.
If it's love, if it really is there really is kiss?
Some hits ruled the charts for months, but others sparked once, flared bright, and slipped away before we could blink. And honestly, those fleeting sparks are the ones that cling to memory. So today, we rewind to the one-hit wonders that carried innocence, swagger, and a whole lot of youthful electricity. Number 1, Do You Love Me by The Contours. This one crashed into the year like a dare, snapping every teenager to attention. Do You Love Me came roaring in with that stomping beat and raw, joyful shout that practically dragged you out of your seat. You see, in a moment when dance crazes ruled the nation, this track felt like the soundtrack of every basement party and gymnasium dance. But then, the moment moved on. The Contours never managed to catch lightning quite like this again, even as the song kept sneaking back into our lives through oldie stations and beloved movies. And honestly, that's part of the charm. One explosive burst of soul that still makes us move like we're back under the glow of a spinning disco ball, long before disco even arrived. Number 2, Surfin' Bird by the Trashmen. Here's the thing. Nobody was ready for this glorious blast of surf rock chaos. Surfin' Bird didn't just hit the radio, it attacked it with frantic energy and that wild, unforgettable vocal riff that felt like a cartoon come to life. Kids laughed, parents shook their heads, and every weekend beach party suddenly had a new anthem. But then, the novelty faded, as novelty hits tend to do. The Trashmen never found a follow-up that captured the same lightning-in-a-bottle absurdity. And yet, the song refused to disappear. It stuck to pop culture like gum on the boardwalk, popping up in movies, TV, and the memories of anyone who ever cranked it up on a summer afternoon. A reminder that sometimes pure silliness is exactly what makes a song immortal. Number 3, Bread and Butter by the Newbeats.
Well, that's why his baby feeds him. He's a loving man.
You see, some songs don't need deep poetry to stick with you. They just need a grin. Bread and Butter bounced onto the airwaves like a Saturday morning cartoon, all quirky falsetto and playful charm.
He likes toast and jam. Well, that's why his baby feeds him.
It felt like sunshine in a sandwich. The kind of tune you'd hum while pouring cereal or racing out the door to meet friends at the corner store. But then, the moment passed. The Newbeats never found another hook quite this sugary, and the pop world moved on to heavier, cooler sounds. Still, every time this one pops up, it's like stepping back into a kitchen filled with clattering dishes, warm toast, and the simple joy of youth.
He likes bread and butter. He likes toast and jam.
A reminder that sometimes the silliest songs are the ones that last the longest. Number 4. The Shoop Shoop song, It's in His Kiss, by Betty Everett. This one floated into 1964 like a wink from across the dance floor. Betty Everett wrapped her voice around a melody so sweet, so effortlessly catchy, that teenagers everywhere leaned in just to hear the answer to that eternal question: where is the secret to true love? You see, in the middle of the girl group era, this song felt like a diary entry sung aloud, playful, hopeful, and dipped in just enough sass to make it unforgettable.
Oh no, you make believe if you wanna know if he loves you so.
But then, as the musical landscape shifted, Betty never found another hit that soared quite like this. And honestly, she didn't need to.
You're in love if it really is. Yes, there it is, kid.
This song became a timeless keepsake, the kind that resurfaces every few years to remind us that some secrets are best left in the kiss.
Every time you call me and tell me we should meet tomorrow.
Number 5. Suspicion by Terry Stafford.
Suspicion,
Tore into my heart.
suspicion.
Here's the thing. The first time people heard Suspicion, many thought Elvis had snuck in with a surprise single.
Oh, you keep on saying you really, really, really love me.
Terry Stafford's voice carried that same smoky swagger, and the song drifted through speakers like a lost Presley track from another dimension.
Why should our romance just keep on causing me such sorrow?
It started as a B-side, barely noticed, until DJs began spinning it out of curiosity, and suddenly it caught fire. But then, the spotlight shifted. Stafford couldn't outrun the comparisons, and the industry moved past him almost as quickly as it discovered him. Still, Suspicion remains a fascinating moment in pop history, a reminder of how one unexpected spark can shoot a stranger straight into the heart of the charts.
Every time you hold me, I'm still not certain that you care.
A little mystery, a little romance, and one unforgettable brush with fame.
A walkie-talkie, wind up little China doll that says, wish you were here.
Number 6. Navy Blue by Diane Renay.
Baby blue, I'm as blue as I can be.
You see, some songs feel like a diary pressed between the pages of a teenage yearbook. Navy Blue was exactly that.
My steady voice said ship ahoy and join the Navy.
Diane Renay's sweet, trembling voice carried the ache of waiting for someone far away. And in 1964, that feeling hit close to home for so many young listeners.
He said he wanted to settle down and let me be his girl.
The melody drifted through bedrooms lit by soft pastel lamps, where girls wrote letters to boys stationed oceans away. But then, as trends shifted and the world grew louder, Diane never managed to recapture this tender moment.
That boat is sailing on, just better get here fast, 'cause I can't hardly wait.
Still, every time Navy Blue plays, it's like opening a faded envelope from long ago, still scented with hope, still whispering the quiet heartbreak of a love waiting patiently across the sea.
Spring little Cobra getting ready to strike. Spring little Cobra with all your might.
Number 7. Hey Little Cobra by the Rip Chords.
Hey little Cobra, don't you know you're gonna shut 'em down?
This one came roaring down the highway like a polished hood ornament. Hey Little Cobra rode the surf rock wave straight into America's growing car culture, revving engines and teenage hearts at the same time.
Spring little Cobra getting ready to strike. Spring little Cobra with all your might.
The harmonies were bright, the beat was fast, And suddenly, every kid imagined themselves behind the wheel of a shiny sports car, racing the wind along the California coast.
Everyone was there just to wait for me. There were plenty of Stingrays and XK.
But then, the craze shifted gears. The Rip Chords couldn't match the speed of their own success, and the charts left them in the rearview mirror.
Took my Cobra down to the track, hitched to the back of my Cadillac.
Yet the song lives on like a ghost engine at a nighttime car meet, a reminder of the thrill, the freedom, and that moment when owning a hot rod felt like owning the whole world.
We'll never love you. The cost of love's too dear.
Number 8, We'll Sing in the Sunshine by Gail Garnett.
We'll sing in the sunshine.
Here's the thing. Some songs feel like summer even when the sky is gray. Gail Garnett stepped into 1964 with a warm, earthy voice and a song that carried both independence and tenderness.
You each morning, I'll kiss you every night.
We'll Sing in the Sunshine wasn't about forever. It was about enjoying the moment, laughing through the days, and letting love breathe without chains. In a world craving simple comfort, it landed beautifully.
He once told me, hey, don't you love you any man?
But then, Gale drifted out of the spotlight, leaving this gentle tune behind like a seashell forgotten on the shore. Even so, when the melody floats back into the air, it brings a calm kind of joy.
We laugh every day.
A reminder that not all love is meant to last. Some is meant to glow.
It's alright. Second gear, a lean right.
Number 9, Little Honda by the Hondells.
Faster, alright. It's not a big motorcycle, just a groovy little motorbike.
Little Honda zipped into the charts with all the energy of a teenager on their first motorbike. You see, Honda scooters were suddenly everywhere, and this tune captured that brand new sense of freedom.
A big motorcycle, just a groovy little motorbike.
Wind in your face, road beneath your wheels, nowhere to be except out there having fun.
Put on a ragged sweatshirt, I'll take you anywhere you want me to.
Its bright surf pop beat made every ride feel like a mini adventure. But then, the fad sped off, and the Hondells didn't have another big hit to chase it.
We're going down to the Honda shop, I'll tell you what we're gonna do.
Still, the song stayed lodged in memory like the hum of a small engine on a long summer afternoon. A piece of musical horsepower that reminds us how big the world felt when we first pressed a throttle.
Gonna save all my money and buy a G.T.O.
Number 10, G.T.O. by Ronnie and the Daytonas. This one didn't just arrive, it roared in. G.T.O. turned the Pontiac muscle car into a legend, and suddenly radios across America sounded like drag strips.
3 deuces and a 4-speed and a 389.
The Daytonas tapped into that teenage rush of power, speed, and showing off just enough to make your friends jealous.
A helmet and a roll bar, and I'll be ready to go.
You see, in 1964, cars weren't just machines. They were identity. They were escape. They were freedom in metal form.
Come on, turn it on, wind it up, blow it out, G.T.O.
But then, the group faded as quickly as a taillight disappearing around a bend. Even so, the song remains a gasoline-soaked snapshot of youth. Whenever it plays, you can almost smell burning rubber and feel that wild urge to floor it. Just once more. Number 11, Easier Said Than Done by the Essex.
Easier said than done.
Here's the thing. Nobody expected a group of young Navy servicemen to drop one of the year's catchiest pop records. Easier Said Than Done was recorded almost as a playful experiment.
My buddies tell me fly to him, side to him, tell him I would die for him, and
Yet it burst onto the airwaves with that lightweight bounce and effortless charm. Listeners were instantly hooked. Teens loved the rhythm, adults loved the sweetness, and suddenly these uniformed performers were on national television, smiling like they'd stumbled into stardom by accident.
deep in my heart, I know it, but it's so hard to show it 'cause it's easier.
But then, reality set in. The Essex couldn't repeat the magic, and military life tugged them in different directions.
Although he gives me a feeling that sets my heart a-reeling, yet it's easier.
Still, this song remains a delightful surprise, a reminder that sometimes the most unexpected voices create the brightest moments.
So at last I understood that there was still a spark of good in Ringo.
Number 12, Ringo by Lorne Greene.
Ringo.
Ringo drifted onto the charts like an old Western tale told beside a campfire. Lorne Greene, already famous as the wise, steady voice of Bonanza, stepped behind the microphone with a spoken word ballad that felt both rugged and strangely tender.
When I heard a blast that stung my wrist, the gun went flying from my fist.
You see, Americans in 1964 still loved a good frontier legend, and Greene delivered it with the calm authority of a man who'd lived it all himself.
Deadly 44 of Ringo.
But then, this storytelling style quietly rode off into the sunset, and Greene never returned to the pop spotlight. Still, Ringo lingers as a curious charm.
I blocked the path of his retreat. He turned and stepped into the street.
A moment when television, music, and myth crossed paths to give us one unforgettable outlaw.
Love me always as you loved me from the start.
Number 13, Love Me With All Your Heart by the Ray Charles Singers.
Love me with all your heart as I love you.
This one floated into the year like a warm breeze through an open window. The Ray Charles Singers, known mostly for gentle TV performances, surprised everyone with a harmony-soaked love song that felt tailor-made for weddings, anniversaries, and quiet evenings at home.
When you're near me, love me with.
You see, in a world buzzing with louder and faster trends, this soft, tender melody offered a peaceful escape.
When we are far apart, or when you're near me.
But then, their chart success ended just as quickly as it arrived. Even so, the song lived on in living rooms, church halls, and countless family moments.
Every summer, every fall.
It became the kind of memory you don't notice forming until years later, when one simple line brings the emotion flooding back.
I had to tell my Jim you in. What you mean when you say that you better go find somebody new?
Number 14, Leader of the Pack by the Shangri-Las.
That's when I fell for the leader of the pack.
This one struck like a lightning bolt, dramatic, loud, and pulsing with teenage heartbreak. Leader of the Pack blended spoken lines, revving engines, and a story that felt straight out of a tear-stained diary.
They said he came from the wrong side of town. What you mean when you say that he came from the wrong side of town?
You see, the Shangri-Las understood the emotional theater of youth. They delivered a tragedy so vivid you could practically see the rain on the pavement.
My folks are always putting him down. Down.
But then, the moment faded, and musical tastes shifted away from teenage melodrama. Still, this song never really left us.
Turned around and smiled at me, you get the picture? Yes, we see. That's
It remains the ultimate snapshot of young love lost too soon, echoing through decades like a motorcycle fading into the distance.
Look good, she looked fine, she looked good, she looked fine.
Number 15, Do Wah Diddy Diddy by Manfred Mann. Now this was pure joy bottled into 2.5 minutes. Doo-wah Diddy Diddy bounced into America during the British invasion and immediately lifted spirits. Its playful rhythm, cheerful vocals, and impossible-to-resist chorus made it feel like the musical equivalent of stepping into sunlight.
We're so happy and that's how we're gonna stay singing.
You see, not every hit needs to be profound. Some just need to make you smile, and this one did exactly that. But then, Manfred Mann shifted direction, finding success elsewhere while this tune remained their American calling card.
Tapping her fingers and shuffling her feet singing.
And honestly, that's fine, because every time it plays, it brings back the innocence, the laughter, and the carefree charm of 1964.
She was walking next to me singing.
And there we have it, 15 flashes of brilliance from a year overflowing with change. You see, 1964 wasn't just a moment in music history. It was a feeling, a snapshot of dances in school gyms, road trips in shiny new cars, letters written under dim bedroom lamps, and dreams shaped by the voices on a transistor radio. These one-hit wonders may have stepped off the charts quickly, but they never stepped out of our hearts. Each song is a little time capsule, waiting to be opened whenever we need a smile, a memory, or a gentle tug back to simpler days. So until our next rewind, keep the needle close and the nostalgia closer.
If I